Hello, today we're going to talk about Tier 2 behavior planning within the MTSS Explorer tool. Just as a reminder, the Tier 2 component of behavior is part of the Ed Plan component within MTSS Explorer. Before we begin, I want to quickly show you how to get into the Easy platform where the MTSS Explorer tool is housed. From the intranet page for Wake County Public Schools, click on Business Applications. Once that loads, scroll down and click on the Wake ID portal. From here, you will have the various options of platforms you can access. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you as if you were doing an actual plan for a student. So we will click on the live site. However, I think it is important to practice this in training to get yourself familiar with how to do behavior Tier 2 plans. From here, you will need to click on the live site, but also remember it's important to practice in training to get yourself familiar with how the process works. Once I get into the main site, I'm going to go along the top to the navigation parts here and click on MTSS Explorer. Now for your purposes, you will have access to just your school. Because I'm practicing today to show you, I'm going to go into a test school. The test school is under No Assigned Area. Click on the little expansion arrow here to be able to see the schools within No Assigned Area. Once I've done that, you will see Test School, and I'm going to click one more time to get down to the classroom or teacher level. When I expand on that, you will see all the teachers listed within Test School. For today's purposes, we're going to go into Test High. After I click on this, you will see the high school class. I will click here, and this is going to take me to my test students. Once I'm in here, I can begin to think about what students would I like to put in my Tier 2 behavior group plan. Certainly, if there is a need that's individual, you can do a Tier 2 plan for one individual student. But the idea is also nice for Tier 2 in behavior that we can group students together who have a similar function, especially if we're going to be providing small group instruction or a check-in, check-out program where their goals and the function is the same. For today's purposes, we're going to do the technical features. Please make sure you check out the first video about brief Tier 2 behavior problem solving, which will help you understand the problem solving process around how you come up with brief Tier 2 PTR plans for students. Going back to what we're going to do, this is where we are now and we want to create a Tier 2 plan. If you click on a student anywhere within this box, it will highlight the student. We're going to go ahead and say we want 2 plans in this Tier 2 plan today. I'm going to click on the 2 students that I would like, and after I do that, you will see this button actually appears. If I select no students, it is not present for me to select as an option. I must select in green in order to have the Create Plan button appear. I'm going to click on Create Plan. Once I bring this up, you will see Select General Area of Need. For today's purposes, we're going to be doing Behavior Tier 2. I clicked on the Behavior Tier 2, and now another page appears. You will want to click Tier 2 Plan. Once I've done this, the justification for the plan change comes up. If I read these small print here, it says select yes to mark that you've taken the proper planning steps, and then listed are the problem solving steps and process. As you can see, this is all rooted within TIPS, Team Initiated Problem Solving. Since we've already analyzed data, identified our problem, our hypothesis, and thought about what our function of behavior is, we could proceed to yes. However, I do want to draw your attention that normally you would want to go through the behavior problem solving process. You can see down here there is a hyperlink. It says for behavior, right-click this link and open in a separate tab. As I right-click and open in a new window, this is where the guide for brief PTR problem solving will be housed. Here is the brief PTR intervention and strategies for Tier 2. It gives you a quick description as well as the steps you will need to follow to complete the Tier 2 behavior process. Step 1 is to open and complete the brief PTR problem-solving form. Again, video 1 will show you more in detail about how this process works. I'm going to go ahead and click on it so you can see what the problem-solving form looks like and what parts will need to be put into MTSS Explorer. It automatically has you copy the document, so you will have a new document for yourself to start problem solving. As you go through, you will list the student names. Again, this could be one student name or a group of students, and begin to follow the steps. The steps for brief PTR problem solving are listed down below. These are directly aligned to TIPS, which is team-initiated problem solving. This isn't a new problem solving process, but rather just how you do behavior problem solving within TIPS. For today's purposes, I've already filled out the brief PTR problem solving form to show you how you will put the information on this form into MTSS Explorer for Behavior Tier 2 planning. As we go back to the tool, you will remember that we were right here on the justification for plan change. We clicked on the document and I followed you through the previous steps. Now we're ready to begin documenting. We're going to click yes because we have problem solved. On the justification, similar to the academic plan, we're going to say the student requires strategic Tier 2 support in the area based on the evidence or assessment. Here's where we're going to put the precise problem statement, which we already did on our brief PTR problem solving form. You can also see in red it tells you exactly what to do. I'm going to copy the information and paste it right in here. And then I'm going to hit save and continue. The next part is recording the function of behavior. Function of behavior on your brief PTR problem solving form is under step 2. You can see avoid activity or item. I will now go and make sure that I check that within the tool and hit save and continue. The next screen that comes up is to develop the hypothesis statement. This again will be located on the brief PTR problem solving form. This is still listed under item step 2. Going to copy and paste this into MTSS Explorer. Now I'm going to go down and look at instructional practices. Since I didn't previously have a core plan for my entire class, I'm going to need to make sure that I choose at least 2 instructional practices. I'm going to go ahead and select those now. Once I've done that, I scroll down and see this message. For behavior, you can select up to 3 intervention categories in the intervention description text box. Please make sure you give specific details regarding the interventions. Again, this will be listed on our brief PTR form. I'm going to hit Save Date, and once I do that, it's going to come down and give me my options for interventions: prevent, teach, and reinforce. As I click to the left here on Add, the pop-up comes up to give me where I need to put the intervention description. I'm going to enter this now. Again, you'll see the red lettering. This can be found on step 3 of the brief PTR problem solving form. Once I've copied and pasted that in there, I need to choose the frequency that this transition support will happen. I'm going to go ahead and enter that information in now. Because transitions happen regularly, I'm going to make sure that I do this each time there is a transition. Next, I'm going to select my teach intervention, and I'm going to follow the same step. Again, remembering that I can just simply copy and paste this from the teach component and put it directly into Easy. After I have the teach filled out, I will go down and select reinforce. At this time, you are not able to select more than 2 interventions. However, this problem will be rectified and you will be able to select prevent, teach, reinforce, all within the same screen. However, at this time, I'm going to simply put my reinforce intervention and list it down below teach on the same tab. I'm going to go to my Reinforce Interventions, copy, and then paste into Easy right here under Teach and put Reinforce and list it. I can make a little comment here about how often I will do it as well. Once I've entered my Prevent, Teach, and Reinforce interventions, I need to go down and select my standard progress monitoring tool. For behavior in Tier 2, you're always going to use the behavior rating scale. Again, details on how to figure out your anchor points can be found on your original sheet for brief PTR problem solving. You can choose frequency, duration, intensity, or latency. The behavior rating scale is always going to be a 5-point scale. If I go back now to my brief PTR problem solving form, you can see that I have chosen frequency and already identified my anchor points. I'm going to put this information into Easy now. Once frequency is selected, I will need to set my target date. Simply click on the blue box and the calendar will appear. My target date is going to be 4 to 6 weeks from now. Once I've selected this, I need to make sure that I click Set Target Date. That will then populate. I also need to enter my base. I'm going to choose today's date for both students. Once I've done this, I need to enter my baseline score and then set my target score. After I've done this, I click on Save Changes, and then I can finalize my plan. After I've finalized plan, all of the summary of information in the graph appear. It is important at this time that you create a document so that it can be found in both students' document locations. I'm going to click on Create Document, select my behavior, and choose Create Document. Once I've done this, all the important information will print onto the pages, each one separate for each student. After I've done those, it is important to note here the student plan notes. Because I didn't have a place previously to put where I wanted to put my behavior rating scale details, I'm going to go ahead and take that from my brief PTR problem solving form. That can be found down here, the details. I'm simply going to copy and paste this into the student plan notes. This is also a great place where each time I revisit and enter progress monitoring data that I can put it. I'm going to save notes, and I can do this in both students, making sure that I only put the information necessary for one student in each of the plan notes because that's specific to the student. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that out at this time. So that only Austin appears for Austin, and then click on Save Notes. Now I'm going to quickly show you how to enter progress monitoring data. Down here it says Show or Enter or Edit Data. Click on that. Once you've done that, information will appear and I can enter progress monitoring data. You can only enter progress monitoring data for a date that has already occurred, and enter the score. Once I've done that and hit Save Score, the information will appear and you will begin to see the progress target line and trend line for all the information. After you've done all this, you are finished with the plan, and you can now go back to MTSS Explorer and you will know that those students have plans. When you scroll down to the bottom of the class, you will see the group Tier 2 behavior for the group that I just created right here. I have a group plan for behavior with both Ashley and Austin. Once a plan is created, the students will have an open symbol. Because I'm in test at the moment, this is not evident when I look through the class list. Please remember to check the reference guide for Behavior Intervention Planning Tier 2 on the MTSS Explorer Tool Canvas site if you have questions. Thank you.